So, we are back again. It is 9:03. It's currently the 11th of October for those listening on the replay or watching on the replay. Those of you who are here live on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and everywhere else, thank you so much for joining us. We weren't live last week because the whole, it seemed, isn't it funny? It seemed like the whole internet was broken. Basically, without Facebook, without WhatsApp, and without Instagram, it was like we only had Twitter left. And, you know, Twitter, you're good. But without the other three, like, it's funny how much time we spend on these platforms, isn't it? Everybody was just kind of like on Twitter going, when's WhatsApp back? When's Instagram back? When's Facebook back? Oh my God. So I hope you did something nice last week that didn't involve your phone or the internet. Maybe you spent some quality time with some human beings. Let me know in the chat if you did do that. Thank you everybody for joining us on Facebook. I can see loads of comments already. Alex is now in the house. Andrea's here. Sharon, Matthew, Esther, Sandra, Lorraine, Michelle. Thank you for joining us. So yeah, let us know what you did last week. But we've got like double the amount of stuff to talk about tonight, basically. I don't really know where to begin. I think where I'm going to begin this evening is because last week we would have recapped on the Act on This member-only mastermind session that we did the week before with BAFTA-winning Top Boy casting director, Mr. Des Hamilton. I don't think, God, for a long time at least, we had as much noise made by actors after, you know, the Zoom session with Des. I don't think we've had that before or for a long time. Maybe when we had Babu Cisse on, we had a lot of people that resonated with what he said. Obviously, every session we do is quality, is fantastic, but I think people appreciated Desi's straight talking, shall we say. I've had to bleep a lot of the video that I'm going to play tonight because there's a heck of a lot of swearing in it. Des just tells it how it is, but people seem to like it. And I was laughing my head off at Twitter before because every time anybody retweets something about this session, it always includes an expletive. And then other actors who get involved in the conversation add more and more and more. And it's definitely, you know, it's definitely different. Acts on This is pretty squeaky clean. This was a session that was just very, very honest and open. I'm going to go over to the website. Sorry for those people who are listening on the audio experience on the replay, but I'm just showing people who are here live and those on video how you can get access to this feature. If you're a member of actsonthis.tv, it's already in your members area. Just get yourself over to actsonthis.tv, log in, and you'll find it in there. That was last week's. That was with Deborah Willey from a top agent at Independent Talent. She was very straight talking as well. That session there, basically, I ask at the end of each session, what's the one thing every actor should know? Deborah's was, listen, just don't be a twat. Very, very simple and straightforward. But if you are looking to sign with one of the big agencies, the Independents, the Uniteds, you know, the Curtis Browns of the acting industry, don't miss that session. That's in your members area as well. But this is the one I'm going to be talking about first of all. Top Boy casting director Des. You can watch a preview. In fact, I'll play you that preview out in a second. And if you are a member, if you just click into your members area, you'll find both of those features. You click into the premium membership section at the top. I say this every week, but at the top here, because people still miss it, when you log into your dashboard, it says our latest 5 features. Obviously, it does exactly as it says on the tin. They are the latest 5 features. So if you've not been logged in for a little while and you just want to catch up on stuff that you might have missed over the last month, it'll always be in that top section there. So I'll come back on camera and I'll play out. In fact, why don't we start with a little mashup, 2 minutes of what you missed from Desi's session. And then I've got 2 other clips that I want to expand out. And it means even if you're not a member of the site, you still get value tonight. It's only 2 minutes of like a 90-minute session. But there's just some class within this. So this is 2 minutes of a mashup. And then we'll go into a bit more depth on just 2 of the topics that Des spoke about. Enjoy it. And if you've got kids in the room, I mean, it's all right, I guess. It's bleeped. Making his Act on This debut, one of the most experienced casting directors in TV and film, responsible for casting huge projects like Netflix smash hit Top Boy, the Academy Award-winning Jojo Rabbit, and so much more. It's the BAFTA-winning Des Hamilton. Des, welcome to Act on This. How are you? A little bit of history, just sort of like on how you got into this industry, and then maybe the transition over to casting. What happened?
So eventually, she said to me, would I like to help out on her next project? And I jumped at it, found a couple of interesting people for her and kept going and ended up casting the film in its entirety.
I've got your team currently as this, but it could be wrong. So I've got you, Ellen, I think it's how you would pronounce the name, Joe, Sophie, Georgia, and Tia, who I've been speaking to this week.
We're a team, there's no boss. They are all casting directors.
This is controversial, right? But I like this. What you've done here, where you've put in red letters there, no previous acting experience necessary.
Yeah.
Loads of people will give casting directors shit for that.
I've never wanted to be a good casting director. I wanted to be an interesting casting director. In my own opinion, I sometimes see a bit of lazy casting. I think, is that the best you could do? Could you mix it up? Can you have brought somebody new in? Couldn't you have given somebody, a chance?
If you were starting out as an actor today, to get on your casting radar and to maybe get an audition from you in your office, how would you go about it?
This is not a hobby.
Yep.
You want to get to where you're going, you're going to have to work every second that you've got.
For you, what do you like to see in show reels, and what are your pet peeves?
What I would do is I would shoot a 70-second scenario where you're banging. The only way out is through, and you can have it all.
actsonthis.tv. If you've not got a membership, that alone is worth getting a month's membership just to watch. I love so much about that chat with Des. Just so many little nuggets that he said that you go, I can't disagree with. I loved it at the end there. He said, look, the only way out is through. And that's Des's attitude for everything. He talks all about sort of like his past, his history, his struggles with addiction when he was younger. And Des is now one of only two BAFTA-winning casting directors in the industry, like full stop. He loves taking chances on people who have never had a shot. He said he believes everybody will get their pop at it, so to speak, as long as they stay in the game. We go over emails within that chat. I mean, literally, I won't say it on here because it's actually, one, it's not fair on members, but two, it's very rude what to say in an email when you're reaching out to Des for the first time if you want to get an audition. But one thing I loved about him is he said, look, if you're going to do that, you better be freaking ready. He didn't say freaking, to deliver when you get in the room. Because if you're going to have the balls to reach out and ask him for an audition, you better be ready. Like he said, it's not a hobby. You need to be working your ass off every single day. There was just so much about it that I love. But you'll find the full chat over on the site. I'm going to play a couple of little clips out now for just to go a little bit in depth, just some advice that he gave just for everybody who's on here. What's up with you, Alex? Saying you can't watch on Facebook, but you're all right on LinkedIn. It's looking all good for me on Facebook. I'm watching myself, Alex, and I can see there's 33 other people watching. So hopefully it's all good. Let me know. Desi's take on show reels was good as well. So many actors, again, we talk about this all the time, where they get so hung up on show reels. He's like, listen, 70 seconds, shoot a self-tape. 70 seconds, but you better be effing banging. He says, is enough to convince him if you're good enough, basically. So the first clip that I've got, if we're going to expand a little bit more, are just more truth bombs from Des. And then we're going to go into Des's advice for actors. This is if he was starting out as an actor. So it doesn't just apply to those people who are starting out. I think there's things that he says within that advice that I'll play later on. That we all should be doing as well, no matter how long you've been in this industry for, full stop. Brendan, I saw a comment before from you saying you've done 5 self-tapes or something. Yeah, freaking hell. Brendan it's done 5 self-tapes over the weekend. 1 for Aisha Bywaters, 1 for Kate Rose James, 1 for Nikki Meadows, 1 for Kate Bone, and 1 for Louise Kiley. I don't know what you're doing, Brendan. Obviously, being a member of Acts on This is clearly paying off for you. I had 1 self-tape over the weekend. I mean, it's for a nice project, but not 5. What are you doing, Brendan? What are you doing? Let everybody know how you're getting 5. I mean, I don't know if I could deal with 5. Someone let me know. Everyone, let me know in the chat if you could actually cope with 5 self-tapes in a weekend. I don't know if I could, to be honest. I reckon I could deal with 3, 4, maybe 2 on each day. 5, and are you shooting them all on your own? Because that's hard, man. That's hard, definitely. Right, okay, so I'm going to play out this first video, and just let me know in the chat that everything is good video-wise. I'm just going to refresh it my end to make sure that it is. It's all showing green signals at my end. My internet connection looks solid, and I can see myself. So I think I'm pretty good. Let me know though if anything's cutting off. Hopefully Facebook is not going down. And Brendan said it was an awful lot, but I managed. I don't know how you managed, mate. Good on you though for doing that. So here's just some more truth bombs from Des, and we're going to discuss each one when I get back. Enjoy it. What advice would you have for people if you were starting out as an actor today to get on your casting radar and to maybe get an audition from you in your office? How would you go about it?
I feel as if sometimes when you're a new person, your dream can seem very far away from you. And you see the repetition, the same people rocking up, playing the same parts, and weeks go past and you think, fuck, I applied for that and I didn't get an audition. You cannot allow that to get to you. You've got to use that as fuel, as fucking petrol, to drive you forward. You've entered into a very tough profession. So accept that. It's not going to be easy unless you're born under a lucky star. You really, really got to graft at it. You've got to do something every day to improve yourself as an actor. This is not a hobby.
Yep.
You want to get to where you're going to have to work every second that you've got. If you're on the outskirts of this industry, my strongest suggestion is eliminate things from your life that aren't going to be an asset for you. Get rid of them and focus on your work. Because all actors, I firmly believe, you will get a pop. You will get a chance, whether it's with me or any of the cast. You will get a chance. And when that comes, you're going to have to be banging. You're going to have to be totally on fire. You've got to do all the right preparation. You've got to be focused. Because see, if you've done that in your preparation, if you don't get a job, then you've got no reason to be upset, no reason to be angry. You did your fucking best. I salute you. Wonderful. And everybody in the room will see it. So it didn't work out for you this time. You did your fucking best. Walk away from it, move on to the next one. And trust me, it will happen.
Once again, atsonthis.tv if you want to get access to the full chat. I wrote down some bullet points there. I couldn't keep up. I was getting engrossed, but it's quality, innit? And it does hit home. Like, even for people, I asked that question there, saying, look, if you were starting out looking for your first job, what would you do? But I don't care. Like, this applies to everybody. The stuff here that I need to remind myself of as well, without a doubt. First thing you said, and this is just something that we're going to talk about specifically this coming Thursday night for all members as well, was you said, you've basically got to use that adversity that you feel that you might be experiencing in the industry, whether that's somebody who got that job over you, that same person who got the last job has got the same, the next job over you. You seem to be up against the same person. They just seem to get everything, or it could just be a number of things. You're not getting seen at all. You scroll down Twitter and you think everybody else is being seen and you're not, or whatever. And in Desi's word, you've got to use it as effing petrol, basically, and you've got to use that adversity to your advantage to make you... Sometimes you've got to hit a real... I find myself, you've got to hit a real level of frustration, almost with yourself, where you go, right, I've wallowed in this enough now. I've had enough. I'm doing something about this. And then, then you really sort of like get stuck into it. At that point, you've got to be careful not to feel almost like, oh, okay, right, well, I've done enough now, and then you just go back, like slide back down into the abyss. It's almost like in positive psychology, they call it a crazy eight. So you imagine like an 8 on its side. You're sliding down, going, this is awful, nothing's working for me. Hit rock bottom, right, fuck this, I'm not standing for this anymore. Work, come up, feel better about yourself, let your foot off the pedal, down, and you just keep going round and round and round. They call it a crazy 8. So you've got to, I think if you are facing adversity, there comes a point where you go, right, line in the sand. But if you do start putting the hustle in, you've got to make sure that you sustain it for a prolonged period. Otherwise, you will just slide down. Let us know what adversity you've got going on in your life that you're using to your advantage. And I'm going to tell you how we're going to be talking about this on Thursday night. We're doing a special member-only session on mental health and acting this Thursday with Emmerdale's Danny Miller. I'm going to explain a bit more about it in a bit. Point number 2, accept it won't be easy. It's pretty straightforward, isn't it? But I still think a lot of actors don't. They just don't. It's almost like they're surprised that it's hard. And that's when they get bitter. And they start tweeting about how like all the jobs are going to the privileged and how the odds are so stacked against you. Well, of course they are. They should be stacked against you in an industry that there's 100,000 people, looking to get established in, and there's not 100,000 jobs. I think actors and myself, we all need to remind ourselves sometimes that actually what we're asking for, and this is just the harsh reality, everyone on this call now, including myself, is ultimately asking to do a job, expecting to be able to do a job, has chosen to do a job where you love it, you get to be on a set or on a stage, center of attention, having a great time, acting, people, adoring your work or whatever, or constantly, saying, oh my God, like I loved you in such and such a thing. You want to get paid really, really well for it. It's a 1% life, guys. 1% of probably the human race get to do that. So it should be freaking difficult. It can't be easy. If it was, it's just, it wouldn't be fair for it to be easy. So I think accepting, like Desi's second point there, accepting that it won't be easy is actually quite liberating, because you go, actually, what I want is a 1% life. I have to work for it. And then you kind of fall in love with the game a bit more. Third thing, do something. This is something that I guess I do inadvertently because I'm working on this community every single day. But I know when I get bogged down in sorting everything out for the site, for actsonthis.tv, sometimes there's a week will go by where I don't do anything for my own career. Bar obviously work, I talk about the industry every single day. I meet people from the industry every single day, but I don't actually get laser focused on my own career and do the outreach myself. Sometimes a week will go by and I'll go, holy shit, I've not really reached out to anybody this week, like for my own self. So that was his third point there. Do something every day. So to hold you accountable, let me know in the chat, what have you done today? What have people done today that's been for your career? How have you improved yourself today? Lisa said she's applied for so many jobs, but not getting any replies. Keep going, Lisa. If you're applying, as in like maybe 3 months go by and you still get, well, not even that, maybe 6 weeks go by and you're still not getting any replies, then I think it's time to change something up. Maybe look at your reel, look at your headshot. Is there a reason? I mean, a lot of the time it is a numbers game, Lisa. There's obviously a load of people applying for the same stuff. Sometimes though, you've got to look a bit more analytically. So it depends how long you've been applying for and not getting replies. I would take a look at that. Let's have a look. So it says, book new headshots today. Boom, there you go. That's definitely something for your career. Let us know who you've chosen. Look forward to seeing those. Sharon says, some people think that owed a career. They do, Sharon. And it's not the case. Not just in our industry, though, in all walks of life. Let's have a look. So, Brendan, when he's talking about all those self-tapes he got over the weekend, he's been targeting the casting directors over the past year, kept in touch, offered content, tried to give value, and what's that? Ask them questions about why they cast who they cast and why. Brendan's just a hustler. Good on you though, dude. 5 takes for that caliber of casting director is a quality result, mate. There ain't anybody at any level of the industry who's not going to be happy with 5 takes from those casting directors. Sandra sent out 3 emails today. Sharon's done a script rehearsal for a feature film. Josh has recorded some audio scenes for a feature film that he's working on and learnt lines for his class. Zoe's been busy sending emails for a new project, the biggest projects I've ever been involved with, she says. And I saw your self-tape, your thing that you put out on Twitter, Zoe. Good on you. Andrew sent a new scene to his agent. Tess said the live signal kept pausing for her. It's all good, my end, Tess. It could just be Facebook screwing up, but if it pauses, just refresh your page and it should come straight back on. Michelle said self-tape, best one I've ever done. Good on you, Michelle. Isn't it good when you feel like that? When you're like, yes, I've nailed it. I've felt like that, and I still haven't got the part though, Michelle. But it's nice, isn't it, just to know that you've given your best. Because like Des said in that clip that we're going to come to in a minute, you can let it go then. At that point, doesn't matter. Tom's organised a meet to do a showreel clip in London. Kate's done recorded voices for VO jobs. You're all killing it. Ethan's at the gym. I mean, mate, that's absolutely investing in yourself and your career. Without fitness, for me, my whole life doesn't work. If I don't work out first thing in the morning, it's over. It's over for me. Fitness is absolutely the foundation of my productivity. Tamsin making head ties for our films fundraiser, Hope Street. Nice one. She's doing a little bit of making. Matt's booked new headshots as well. Lorraine's sending out headshots. Well, basically, I can just go. To be honest, it doesn't like I need to motivate people into doing any work, does it? You're all doing it, which is good. Good on you for all taking action. So that's good. Something that I need to remind myself of, though, equally, because sometimes there will be a day goes by, or as I say, if I'm completely honest with you, sometimes a Monday to Friday will go by, and I'll go, "Holy shit, where's that week just gone?" Fourth thing in this list, Des says, eliminate things that aren't an asset. Eliminate things that aren't an asset. And I find letting go of things actually that I'm doing quite hard, even if they're not showing me massive results. There's something called sunk cost syndrome. And it's where you've been trying something for such a long time and you've put lots of hours and maybe money into it, maybe even sending the same show reel out that cost you, I don't know, maybe you did 2 scenes with someone like Chris Stone that was 800 quid. But since then, you've learned a load more about your casting type and this industry and how it works and where you fit into it. And you now realize that those scenes that you shot are just not going to work for you. They're not really you, showing you authentically as your best self and, like, you know, it's sort of like actually what you're going to be cast as. But because you've spent 2 months or 3 months sending them out and you have spent £800 making them, you might then go, well, I'm still going to send them out for the next 12 months and I'm going to hope I get a different response, but I've not had any response in the first 4 months. So the likelihood is I'm not going to. But because I've got this sunk cost within this thing that I'm doing, I'm going to keep doing it. And only after the year, when you still haven't heard anything, do you go, right, okay, now back to the drawing board. So sometimes what you can see as assets in your career might not be serving you to the best of your ability. So maybe you're like, actually, I don't have loads of money to shoot something else, but maybe I could just shoot a self-tape of something that would be way more suitable for me. Petch just did that again. So you know Petch, who works for me, acts on this. He just did that again, shot a self-tape congruent with his casting type, and he just got a self-tape that I helped him with on Friday for a serial drama that he's not been in before. It works. You don't have to have glossy, high-end showreel stuff. 70 seconds, as Des says, is good enough. And then the last thing on my list there is just be ready. Be ready so you don't have to get ready. If you've not, if you're new and you've not done self-tapes before, don't wait till you get a self-tape to know how to set up for a self-tape. Like, even if you've not been asked by a casting director to tape for something yet, make sure you have the equipment, you know how to set it up, so you're not figuring it out and having to get ready when the time comes. Be ready. Be match fit, as so many casting directors say. Daniel Edwards was the first guy who was like that. Look, you've got to be match fit in this game all the time. So when the opportunity comes, people think it's right place, right time, but it's not. I always say it's opportunity meeting preparedness. An opportunity can come up, but if you are not prepared to take it, then you're not possibly in the right place at the right time. You're in the right place at the wrong time because you've got the opportunity, but you can't take it because you don't know how. So be ready, so you don't have to get ready. So that's the first clip that I wanted to play out tonight, and then I'm going to play one in a minute. Some of Desi's advice for actors. If he was going to become an actor, or he was going to start out as an actor today, here's a few things that that he says that he would do. I'm going to play those in a second. I'm just going to come back to the comments for a second. Let's have a look. What's going down? Josh says he's hoping to get his showreel scenes back tomorrow, and he knows who he's sending them to. Josh, when you've got them, mate, post them in the Facebook group. I would love to see them. Definitely, mate. Because did you do them with the lads that we had on from White Wedding? Oh God, begins with C. Collective. Media, I think. Let me know if that's it. I'm sure you did. I think you went with them. I would love to see their work, and the stuff they were doing on that short film, White Wedding, looked absolutely wicked. Definitely. Oh, Alex, you make a good point there as well. Yeah, Emma Sylvester. We had Emma Sylvester on That's on This.tv a few months ago, and she said actually sometimes for her it's right script, right time, and that's good as well. Mark is back in London. He's been shooting his showreel scenes with Chris Stone today. Sorry I couldn't meet you, Mark. Let us know how that goes, mate. Or how it went. And again, I can't wait to see it once you've done it. Post it in the Facebook group for sure. Right, I'm going to play this little clip from Des about what he would do if he was starting out. I'll see you in 2 minutes. Are there like 3 things that you think actors should be focusing on that are like the foundational stuff that has to be in place for that pop to be more likely to happen sooner rather than later?
Most actors have friends that are in the same profession. Support each other and work together on scenarios, work together on little improvisations. Don't be competitive with each other. It's fucking useless. It's such a waste of energy. Find a way to improve yourself as an actor, you know? So I think that would be a big thing. If I was an actor, I would go to galleries. I'd go to the theatre and try and watch the good stuff and watch what they're doing.
Yeah.
I would go to galleries, I would read philosophy, and I would definitely get myself in tune with some form of meditative discipline that you can use when you walk into that room so your nerves don't get on top of you. Regulate, moderate your breathing. Pay attention to your diet. Get enough rest. Look after yourself. This is what I always say as well when people come into audition, especially people new to the game and a bit younger or any age. It takes a long time to become Robert De Niro and Meryl Streep. It really does. You know, and they started off pretty good, but they worked at it. You know, your biggest asset is yourself. Trust yourself. You know, look after yourself. Look after yourself physically and mentally. Don't get caught up in that. Be negative about what other people are doing. That's of no interest to you. What they're doing is fuck all to do with you. Focus on yourself. Be the best you can be. And that will show as well. And when you get to an audition, you know, like, you've got to have the right mindset. You've got to walk in relaxed, focused, prepared. Do your thing.
That's on this.tv for the full chat with Des. I was getting carried away there. I nearly didn't put the camera back on. I've been writing some more notes. Again, he's good, isn't he? If you weren't on that session, let us know what you think. Des is, without a doubt, one of the most successful casting directors in the industry. Full stop. Who just is not afraid to say it as it is. Right. So. First things, let's have a look. I've got a list of things here. Oh, and Andrew, I noticed you were asking about the Babu seminar for the Fast Track people. I was WhatsApping him. Babu Cisse, he's going to run a self-tape workshop for people on a program that I ran. He's just come back to back off 2 jobs, mate. So he's done 7 months of filming, and he's now in Gambia spending a little bit of time with his wife and his kids. So he said it's going to happen, but he just needs to recharge. So I'm not putting the pressure on him just yet. But everyone on that program will get it. It'll definitely happen. If it happens at the end of this year or first thing of the new year, it will definitely happen. So if Des Hamilton was an actor, a few things that he'd do. First things first is work together with other actors. Still blows my mind how many people get all insular and almost sort of like them against the world. And it's like they can't bring themselves to collaborate or celebrate other people's success or congratulate people. I feel that our community does it better than any, to be honest. I've never seen a more supportive community, but you only need to go into some Facebook groups and scroll down some Twitter feeds, and it does seem a little less supportive. It feels, or the people who are supporting each other are all supporting each other over something negative. It's almost like someone will post how there's some injustice in the industry, and then 1,000 people will jump onto that, as opposed to going, well, what can we do about it? As opposed to complaining about it, or how can we work through it? So work together, people. A lot of people in this community collaborate. I see people all the time helping each other with self-tapes, jumping online and recording little sketches and things via Zoom, getting involved in other people's showreel scenes. Mark, the showreel scene you're in today with Chris, was that with someone else from the community, or is that with somebody who you don't know, mate? Because I know a lot of people in the Acts on This community, are sharing scenes and stuff when they're doing showreel scenes with people like Chris Stone. And that kind of stuff, which is always good to see. One thing to remember, though, casting's still important. Just because you like somebody doesn't mean they're necessarily going to be the best showreel partner for you, purely from a casting type perspective. Maybe they're the exact same type as you, which you don't really want to do a scene with someone who's the same type as you. You want to stand out, so there's no confusion over whose scene it is, so to speak. So you've still got to be careful with casting, but I love the collaboration that goes on in terms of people supporting each other, which is wicked. So that's the first thing you mentioned. Then not being competitive, not being competitive. It's cliched as hell, innit? But just competing with yourself, just competing with the same, the person who you were yesterday, basically. Try to get. I don't know how you quite measure it, but I like the idea of going, how can I get just 1% better a day? Because that would mean every year I become 3.6 times better. But I don't know how you measure 1% better. If anybody's got any ideas, please let me know. Because I'm like, it can't be that hard to get 1% better at something. But I'm like, I don't know how you quite measure that. What I liked about what you said then, I wasn't expecting it from Des, but he was saying, like, when he's talking about sort of like culturing yourself, go to galleries, go to the theatres, getting in touch with philosophy, ultimately sort of like understanding human behaviour, really. I guess, and sort of why we think in the ways that we think. And then he got onto meditation. Meditation for me has never been something that I've been comfortable doing in terms of sitting down. I don't think the aim of meditation either is to make your mind go blank and sort of like just be. I think that's impossible. I've never been able to do that. But my form of meditation is running. Every Sunday I do a long run. And that for me is where I'm sort of like observing my thoughts and really getting in touch with my own ideas. And sometimes things will come to you. Like when you're in the shower, when you're sort of like, you're not focusing on anything, your best ideas will come to you. Running's that for me. So find what meditation is for you. What are you saying? Bad maths, Alex? That's not bad maths. 1% better a year. So that's 365%. So that would mean you'd get better 3.65 times if you want to be precise. But that's not bad maths. Or have I got that completely wrong? That's definitely not bad maths. Alex, figure it out. I don't think I've got that wrong. Someone tell me if I've got that wrong. If you're getting 1% better a day for 365 days, then you're 3.65 times better. So I think you're wrong, Alex. So find 1% better a day. That's what I'm saying. 1% better a day. There's 365 days in a year. So that's 365%. So you would get 3.65 times better. I'm definitely having that. So what's your form of meditation? Have you... Kate says she loves a good run. Escape and recalibrate. Let us know what else you find meditative. It could be like painting for some people. I don't know, maybe you like pottery, or you like baking, or making jam, or potted plants and gardening and all that sort of stuff. Whatever it is, I don't think you have to sit in a quiet room going, I don't think you have to do that. I think you just got to find a bit of escapism, something that's just good for the body, good for the soul. Find your thing. Because he says that's going to help you with your nerves when you get, and I think like really understanding positive psychology is good as well for you. Any kind of personal growth, personal development. I try to think the best book. I've read hundreds of books on personal development over the years. Try to think if there was one I would recommend to somebody if you just wanted to read something that's going to make sense straight away. I think something. You know what? Everyone should read something called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. That's a really good book. Just get the audiobook. It's quite a thick book otherwise. It's big text, so it's not difficult to read. Like, it's not a long read. It's just a quite overwhelming book because it's a big hardback book. But it's interesting. It talks about, it's very similar to what I was saying about 1% better each day. Just making seemingly insignificant good decisions every day that on their own would mean nothing to anybody, but over a month or over 3 months, 6 months, a year, make a massive difference. People. There's like an old. I don't know who said it, but an old adage saying that people overestimate. What they can do in a year. So, this time next year I'll have had 6 TV credits, but they massively underestimate what they can achieve within 5 years or 10 years. You can be in such a different place in your life and your career. Your life can be so unrecognizably different 5 years from now. But people expect to get there in a year, and when they don't, they just give up and go, I'm not going to bother anymore. So the seemingly insignificant things you do on a daily basis really make a difference down the line. Add up over a year, but over 5 years can completely just transform everything for you. Diet, rest, super important. Who's shit at getting sleep? I'm going to put my hand up there. I am terrible at getting enough sleep. I always end up having such good intentions. I get stuck doing some work. I feel I can't stop. Before I know it's 1 o'clock, and then I have to get back up at 7, 7:15 to go to the gym. And I force my ass out of bed, but I know I'm not getting enough, and it's unsustainable after a while. I almost hit burnout about 6 weeks ago. I just went, I'm not going to go to the gym for 2 weeks. But yeah, rest is freaking important. And then, what Des says there, just accept that it's going to take a long time. In his own words, it takes an effing long time to become Robert De Niro or Meryl Streep. This is a long game. Michelle says she's terrible with sleep. Tara says me. Guilty. I think we all are. Tom, you get 8 hours a night, mate. That's brilliant. That is good. Sharon says she goes to bed late, but she sleeps in most days because she can. I am shit at getting sleep. I don't know. Sometimes I get quite excited about what I'm doing, and then I don't want to go to sleep. I'm like, isn't it a shame that we have to sleep? This is a bit crap. And then I'm so gutted I didn't sleep the next day. Definitely. Night duty cripples Brendan, he says, when he's working. Always trying my best to get at least 8 hours, says Alex. Sandra says she's good at falling asleep, but then she wakes up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Maybe we should get a sleep expert. I know it sounds so bonkers and what's that got to do with acting? But maybe 1 week, one of our mastermind sessions, we could get a sleep expert on who just can sort of explain it all scientifically and help with nighttime routines. And I think it's massive, isn't it? It's massive. It literally is like a morbidity factor. If you go so long without decent sleep, it can literally take months or years off your life. So we've got to be getting better sleep. Maya says she does 10 minutes of yoga every morning, walks the dog for 40 to 60 minutes a day, has a 2-minute cold shower, following my regular shower 3 times a week. Moya, that's good. Cold shower. Maya. I can't speak. It's good. It's good for, isn't it? It's good for creating burning. Is it the brown fat that's the thermal layer of fat? Because we have 2 different types of fat, don't we? And I know cold showers helps to burn. I think it's brown fat, yeah. Which is quite difficult to burn any other way. I think it's something like that. I think it is. So I'll have to Google that and help me out. Right, so they were the 2 clips that I wanted to play from Des. Basically, just go and get, even if you're not a member, go and get a membership for a month. You will not regret it. It's worth it just for that chat with Des. But you will see that ActsOnThis.tv will change your life. Basically, you become part of the best community in the world. You get to join Zoom sessions like that every single week with the biggest casting directors, agents, actors, writers, producers, and directors in TV. And let me just show you, for everybody who's on it now, a little bit of what's coming up. I just put up on the website today a schedule of what's coming up for the rest of this month. I'm not going to tell you about November yet. I mean, the rest of this year is so good, guys. Honestly, it's so freaking good. You're going to love it. Let me just bring this up on your screen. But this is just for October. If you're a member, you're going to get access to all of these as part of your membership. If you're not a member, go get a membership. It costs you £6 a week. Best thing you could do for your career. But we've got... So this is happening this Thursday. And this is what I wanted to ask you about now, just for 10 minutes. I want to ask you some questions because this is going to help me shape the discussion on Thursday night. We've got Emmerdale's Danny Miller, great mate of mine, top bloke, one of the best actors in serial drama, without a doubt, has won the Best Actor accolade at the British Soap Awards 3 times now. Just a top guy. But he's always been very open about his struggle with mental health, kind of like anxiety and depression, sort of like overcoming that. He's really on top of it, and now like he's happy to help other people kind of, get through it and deal with it themselves as well. I texted him the other day because it was the it's like International Mental Health Awareness Day, I think, yesterday on the 10th of October. It's the 11th as I record this today for those on the replay. And I was like, mate, listen, you've been the person who's opened up most in all of the chats that I've done on Act on This over the last decade, really. Why don't we do a no holds barred sesh on Thursday night about what he's experienced, how he dealt with it, still whilst working a full-time job on Emmerdale, how he's come through the other side. He's a new father-to-be now. That obviously adds an entirely different level of stress to your life and anxiety, I'm sure. So we're going to be really... He texted me and said, okay, well, but let's not hold back. So we're not going to hold back on Thursday night. It's going to be an incredibly honest chat, 7:30 till 9. But and you don't have to, I know people might not be vulnerable or want to be vulnerable on Facebook, like on a session like this, but what do you struggle, it doesn't mean, you have to be, your mental health has to be in poor shape, but what are the things that you guys struggle with the most, or a recurring theme that might come up in your life where you're like, God, that's fucking popped its head up again. I still, I forgot my lines once in an audition, and now every time I go to auditions, all I can think about is not forgetting my lines, and it's really screwing me up. Or just like, it could be something, a comment you got when you were at school that's still stuck with you 25 years later, some kind of limiting belief that a teacher pushed onto you that you're still honouring 30 years later. I just wondered, if you've got any kind of comments or experiences around this industry and how it might have affected your mental game to the point where, you're like, oh, I know I need to sort of like get on top of this, or this is something that I feel is holding me back. Like I say, it doesn't mean you have to be clinically depressed. Like, mental health is just like physical health. So what affects your mental health negatively? What are the things that can put a chink in your armor, or, a little dent in you that dents your confidence or whatever? I would just love to know, because then I can, when I'm sorting the slides out for this week, I can include some stuff, and then I can also, maybe include some of the. I've been obsessed with positive psychology for over a decade now. I can maybe include some of the strategies and stuff that I've learnt myself to deal with. So, Alex, good on you, man. Thanks for the honesty. He says comparing, it's massive, isn't it? I'm going to write these down because this is definitely these are topics. Compare and despair, Alex, because these are topics that I think we need to cover. Let's see what other people are saying. Michelle says, not me, but I've seen comments on Twitter about actors comparing themselves. Yeah, compare, definitely. Absolutely. Let's have a look. Oh, I'm losing some comments there. Sorry, guys. Zoe says, I struggle with conflicts in the cast when people argue on shows and projects. I hate people falling out. My anxiety strikes and it makes me feel sick, and I always blame myself for the argument, even if it's nothing to do with me. It really affects me. Zoe, I can't ever imagine you upsetting anybody. Right, okay, so because that's, this is interesting, because this will happen. Like, I'm sure Danny's experienced it on serial drama, where there's probably been a conflict within the cast of regulars, and then almost I can imagine. I think who was it who spoke about this? Someone spoke about this we had him on from a serial drama, and he said sometimes when there's conflicts in a cast, almost it can seem like taking sides. There'll be some cast members who are on one side, and there'll be other cast members who are on the other, and obviously they don't all know both sides of the story, and it can kind of cause issues. And he was saying, look, the only way to deal with that is to face it head on and actually be really honest with people. James Hooton, that's who it was, plays Sam Dingle in Emmerdale. So we'll ask Danny about that as well, because I'm sure that's something a lot of people have experienced. Zoe, Josh says I compare a lot as well. Definitely imposter syndrome. That's a good one, Sharon. Imposter syndrome. Time management for Tom. So what is that, Tom? You get anxious about being places on time, or you just need to get better at time management? I am Mr. have to be there well early. Like, I won't go into the audition or anything like that. I don't like being that guy who goes, hi, I'm an hour early. Can I sit in reception? But I hate being on time or late. I have to be early, just so I know, especially if I'm going somewhere for the first time. Flights, book me on an aeroplane. I'm getting to the airport 5 hours early. Like, I cannot deal with that. But yeah, we'll look at time management, Tom. Let's have a look. Andrew says diction for him. Had a lot of teachers have said to me, and now I'm constantly hyper aware about it, where it can get in my way when acting. Okay, so that's just like basically comments from others that I don't think there's anything wrong with your diction, Andrew. That's almost like snide comments from other people that don't apply anymore. Maybe at one point they did, but no, so I don't see that at all. Self-deprecation, says Brendan. He says that he thinks people suffers from that. Bullies from your past, says Emma. Lack of self-confidence. Yeah, I mean, I see, honestly, like, I just see some people even, like, not even in the past, Emma, just, like, some of the things that I see on Facebook in comment sections and Twitter, I'm like, freaking hell, grow up, folks. You're all 40 and it's like you're still at high school. So you still get people who just sort of like to bully other people, even as adults, Emma. But yeah, again, that's limiting beliefs from past experiences. So that's other people's like nonsense. That's probably hurt people trying to hurt you and pushing limiting beliefs that were never meant to be yours onto you, and you've ended up honoring them, and then they've stuck in your subconscious or even your conscious for years, and they're still holding you back today. That's something that is so common with human beings, basically. It's called the elephant trap. It's similar to when they train baby elephants and they tether them to a tiny little pole that they can't escape as a baby, and when they grow up and they're an adult, they still don't even try and escape from this tiny little pole that they could smash out of the ground, because they developed this thought in their head when they were a kid that when I'm on this pole I can't escape. And we do that as human beings as well. Joe says, feeling useless when I've invested big time in training and doing everything to getting work. So I guess that's kind of like, I guess, not feeling that you're getting the payoff that you've kind of invested in. I think there's a balance when it comes to training in the acting industry. What I sometimes see people doing, Joe, is using almost sort of like they go on a course that, they do a year's acting training and they're more than ready to go out in the world and start picking up little bits of work, but they're shit scared of it. Like, actually, I'm going to hold on to the safety blanket of doing a little bit more training. I'm not ready yet. They convince themselves they're not ready. Or unscrupulous sods in this industry convince them they're not ready, so they can sell them another course. Stay in my acting class for 4 years. You're not ready. Keep paying me 30 quid a week. You're not ready. You're not ready. When you've been ready for years, but you're just a cash cow to them. And what people do is a high level of procrastination. They collect training to convince themselves they're working towards their goal, when actually they've been ready to hit that goal for years. So have a look sometimes at the training that you're doing as well and go, actually, do I need to do this? Is it serving me? Is it an asset, like Des said before? Or can I just get out in the world now and start asking for what I want? Definitely. Right, what was someone else saying there? We'll just do a couple more minutes on this, and then I will we'll begin to wrap it up a little bit. Better at time management for Tom and juggling stuff. Yeah, okay, so that's something that can be really easily looked at, Tom, when it comes to scheduling. If I don't schedule it, you should see my calendar. It is rammed. But if I don't literally plan out all of my days way in advance, I don't know what I'm doing. And also what I do, I've said this loads of times before, this is what I do in this folder, is I write down the 3 tasks that must be completed for the next day, and I write them down the night before. Every night without fail. And I highlight the ones that I achieve in yellow, and the one from the day that I don't achieve, if I don't achieve it, I highlight in orange, and I move it over to the next day. So I can see how many of these big 3 things I'm hitting. I do that. That's one thing I have got disciplined at. Every single night I'll do that. So when I come to my desk, I know what I've got to do without thinking, I spend half an hour trying to figure out what I've got to do. Let's have a look. What else? Maya says, feeling old and aged. Not all the time, just when tired and insecure. It's a privilege. What you've got to do is fall in love with getting older. Fall in love with getting older. And then also, if you're getting enough sleep and rest, and you're eating healthy, hopefully that'll take away any sort of like physical ailments that we all feel. But yeah, always remind yourself, I say this all the time, 151,000 people globally each day lose the privilege of getting older. 151,000 people who woke up this morning and opened their eyes will not wake up and open their eyes tomorrow. It is a privilege. Viva la getting older. That's all good. You've got, again, perspective, paradigm shift in your thinking there. I'm so sorry I've missed loads of these comments. Let's have a look. Oh, and Joe, you're talking about getting work when other people told you wouldn't. Well, I mean, that's good. Yeah, that's a positive, isn't it? That's always good. And I sometimes love being the underdog as well, Joe. There's nothing better than being underestimated in this industry, I don't think. I freaking love it. Because people drop their guard. They don't expect you to come up with anything. And then they're like, holy shit. I just like to sometimes plot behind the scenes and then just drop something on the industry, and I go, yeah, nice, how they do that. I never really tweet about doing jobs. I just let them come out. And then when people see them on TV, like, they're surprised. I get texts going, oh my God, saw you pop up in such and such a thing. I like that. Just like, coasting behind the scenes, plotting away. Sharon says, here's one for you. Grieving for a life you thought you'd have when a disability has stopped you. It's interesting. I mean, there are going to be things when it comes to disability-wise, because I know this myself with my eye condition. I'm never going to be a Formula One driver, Sharon. So I could probably grieve for a Formula One career if I wanted it initially. But I think I'd probably have to find a way of still working within Formula One if that was what I wanted to do. So yeah, I get it, but I think you've actually got to choose not to grieve. You've got to absolutely choose, make that choice. And I know it's really hard. Whenever I've done sessions in the past on mental health, and I go, listen, a lot of this, and I only know this through my own experience, a lot of this, without undermining anything, comes down to choice. And people go, no, you've got it all wrong. You can't choose to be happy. And I'm like, 80% of it, I think, is at least a desire to want to be. And choosing, I know when life has given me the most adversity, it's when I found out about my eye condition, when I lost my dad, just lost him, just outside somewhere. No, my dad passed away. I had to choose to take the good from it and to be happy. And I could have easily said at the time, no, I don't have a choice. I just feel like total shit. So I think, you've got to choose not to allow a disability to rob you of that, Sharon. But it's hard, absolutely not undermining anything. Let's have a look. Having a bit of a motivational blip at the moment, says Maya. I know it will pass, but I'm self-sabotaging a bit by procrastinating, comfort eating. Maya, you're going down the slope of the crazy 8. You're gonna hit that I'm so annoyed with myself moment anytime, and you're gonna go, right, sod it. Something's got to change. Now at this point, what you've got to do is not try and change everything at once. So what loads of people do is they do it this sort of I'm not going to call it rock bottom. You're clearly not going to be at rock bottom if you're just a bit sort of like unmotivated. But you will get a point where you get fed up of being unmotivated. What people do is they throw themselves really hard into going, right, I'm going to go and buy new trainers, get new gym kit, new membership. There you go. I'm going to pay for that. Done. And then they go, right, I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to get up 2 hours earlier. I'm going to send 20 emails to casting directors. And 3 days later, they go, I can't do this. I'm not cut out for this. Forget it. And then they start going back into their hole. So what you've got to do is, when you find yourself in this situation, there's been so much science done on this, is choose 1 or 2 things at a time to focus on. So maybe it is just going, right, well, I'm not gonna work out yet. I'm just gonna get back on top of eating well and maybe getting some rest, sleeping better. And then you do that for 2 weeks. Then when you're kind of on top of that and you go, oh, actually, yeah, I'm feeling, I feel like I'm maybe got a better body composition because just through diet, not even through exercise. Then you can start throwing in a bit of exercise. And then you go, right, well, I'm going to, next week I'm going to write to 3 casting directors, not 20. And just slowly but surely change everything. Because whenever I've hit that point before and I've tried to do it all at once, it has never, ever worked. So do a little bit at a time. Yeah, you said that, so you don't do too much and get overwhelmed. It's a real thing, definitely. Brendan hit the crazy 8 5 years ago. Yeah, Brendan, man, you've done it and you've sustained it. People, you would not recognise Brendan 5 years ago when you first sent me, Brendan first joined Acts on this. It's a fair few years ago, isn't it, Brendan? He sent me a show reel. And he said, listen, you know what I'm like? I'm like, take action now. Take action now. You've got a reel, send it out there. But he said, listen, I'm going through this kind of like complete body transformation. He's losing weight. I think you like shaved your head at the time, Brendan. You look nothing like you did now. He looked like sort of someone you'd definitely, like a bouncer, like you'd definitely be intimidated by. Like, I'm not, and I think even in your show reel, you were speaking like one. I never knew what your accent was. Because I was like, is he Cockney? What is he? Is he like Phil Mitchell or what is he? And then you told me you were kind of changing everything. And should you send it out or should you wait? And we decided that actually, you know what? Go on your journey of rediscovering and redefining yourself, and then come back and you get new headshots. Then you can get a show reel that aligns with you. And that's what you've done, mate. And then to hear now, 5 cell tapes from those casting directors you mentioned before in a weekend, it's clearly worked. So, and that has been incremental, hasn't it? Eastern European bouncer, he says in the chat. But it has been small steps, mate, hasn't it? Baby steps, step by step, little by little. So yeah, people need to give themselves grace. Don't try and change everything at once. And Alex can't even imagine you like that, Brendan. If you've still got your reel, send it to private message at Alex. Don't put it in the Facebook group. It'll confuse people. They'll think that's you now. Don't let that ever out there again. But send it Alex privately so he can see it. Right. Well, we're coming up to 10 o'clock. So Thursday night. With Danny Miller, be there. It's going to be wicked. Okay, you're going to get your Zoom link sent to you on Thursday day if you're a member. You can also log in and get that from the members area. If you're not a member, join this freaking community. You're missing out massively. The week after, we've got an incredible round table mastermind happening on Zoom for all members with BAFTA-winning actor David Bradley. I freaking love him. He's in everything. He's in so many of my favourite shows, from like Harry Potter. He plays Ricky Gervais's dad in Afterlife. And he's just done a short film with some friends of mine called Roy. I won't spoil the story for you. It's a beautiful narrative. Really, really, like, quite sad, but also very heartwarming short film. A 15-minute short film by 2 new writer / kind of first-time directors. And we're going to have the whole team on, and David, on Tuesday, the following Tuesday. That's Tuesday the 19th of October. Really just looking at creating your own work. And actually not being afraid to take your script to screen and also shoot for the stars when it comes to cast. Go, well, this might be, one of my first things and the first time I'm directing, but can I get, a really big actor to be involved in my short film? Rachel Shenton, Oscar winner, was in this short film as well. Rachel won't be on the call. Rachel's done quite a few calls with us, but she's at a concert that night. But David will be there with the team. Bryony Polizzi, who is the producer of the show. We've also got the writer, the 2 lads, writers and directors of the show as well. And then the week after, Archie Purnell's back from Bodie Talent Agency. His brand new agency. Archie's been an agent at so many different agencies over the years, and now he's gone, right, I'm setting up my own. And he's got some cracking actors on his books, including our very own Petch. He's got Petch self-tapes like galore, like, week on week, getting him stuff as well. Petch and Archie are working really well together. So Archie's going to come on the following week. So that's Thursday, the 28th of October. That takes us to the end of October. And I'm not going to tell you what's going on in November. But November is going to be wicked. December is going to be really cool as well. I'm going to be giving you guys some pre-recorded stuff in December as well, some extra stuff. I want to do another end-of-year wrap-up podcast, like I did I did one back in September that people really, really enjoyed, where it's a long feature. Me and Petch just sit down and effectively we're going to wrap up the entire year in the middle of December. We've got Christmas cocktails and conversation coming up in December as well. It's going to be wicked. We just got some absolutely awesome guests coming on and loads of fun stuff for the community as well. So come and get involved. And let me see in the chat who's going to be there with Danny on Thursday. Michelle says Archie Purnell, one of my fave podcasts when I first joined, acts on this. Well, he's going to be back. Michelle, I spoke to him today. He's back for more. He's another guy who just speaks very, 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 very honestly. Petch has moved, Jimmy, from Kate. Petch has moved from Kate. I think Kate has. I think she's reduced her books a little bit. I think that she was sort of like shuffling the the roster at Cape Northern. But Petch was with Archie a while ago when Archie worked for a different agency, and then Archie set up on his own and wanted him back. And Petch was like, right, I'm going to give it a shot. Kate's amazing though. Kate's absolutely lovely. There was nothing weird. He didn't leave for any weird reason or anything like that. Just business, innit? That's what this industry's all about. It's sometimes it feels like you're breaking up from your girlfriend or your boyfriend if you are leaving an agency, but it's just, you can do it really amicably and still remain friends and still support each other. But yeah, Petch is now repped by Archie at Bodie there. Oh, Jimmy, it's James Churchill. Jimmy, what are you? I can't keep up with people's names on Facebook. Jimmy Javier. I was like, who's Jimmy? I don't know, but I thought he's clearly someone in the community. Right, I'm going to love you and leave you guys. I'm going to play you, for those who missed it at the start, just because it's quite entertaining, I'm going to play you the mashup of Des Hamilton. There's a lot of swearing in it, but as I say, go watch this on @onthis.tv. You will not regret it. Get a membership just for this, but you'll obviously get access to everything in the vault and all the calls that we're doing this month, the coaching sessions we do every other week, the social, 7 sessions in this industry for 24 quid with the biggest names in it, full stop. Biggest names in the industry for 24 quid. 7 of them. 7 for 24 quid. You don't get one for that anywhere else. You literally will get one, not even one, anywhere else. Like, I don't know what I can do to make it more appealing for people, but that's why I genuinely believe if you're not a part of this community, you are actively hurting your career. So do something about it. Come get involved and join the party. Thank you for being here. Lots of love to everybody. I'm going to play this Des mashup now, and I will see you Thursday night with Danny Miller, 7:30 p.m. Links will be in your members area from Thursday lunchtime. Until then, lots of love, everybody. Bye for now. Making his Act on This debut, one of the most experienced casting directors in TV and film, responsible for casting huge projects like Netflix smash hit Top Boy, the Academy Award-winning Jojo Rabbit, and so much more. It's the BAFTA-winning Des Hamilton. Des, welcome to Act on This. How are you? A little bit of history, just sort of like on how you got into this industry, and then maybe the transition over to casting. What happened?
So eventually, she said to me, would I like to help out on her next project? And I jumped at it, found a couple of interesting people for her, and kept going, and ended up casting the film in its entirety.
I've got your team currently as this, but it could be wrong. So I've got you, Ellen, I think it's how you would pronounce the name, Joe, Sophie, Georgia, and Tia, who I've been speaking to this week.
We're a team, there's no boss. They are all casting directors.
This is controversial, right? But I like this. What you've done here, where you've put in red letters there, no previous acting experience necessary. Yeah. Loads of people will give casting directors shit for that.
I've never wanted to be a good casting director. I wanted to be an interesting casting director. In my own opinion, I sometimes see a bit of lazy casting. I think, is that the best you could do? Could you mix it up? Can you have brought somebody new in? Couldn't you have given somebody a chance?
If you were starting out as an actor today, to get on your casting radar and to maybe get an audition from you in your office, how would you go about it?
This is not a hobby.
Yep.
You want to get to where you're going to have to work every second that you've got.
For you, what do you like to see in show reels, and what are your pet peeves?
What I would do is I would shoot a 70-second scenario where you're banging. The only way out is through, and you can have it all.